Hey, welcome to Life Beyond Board Games, where board gamers just like you share stories, challenges, and secrets outside board gaming. Maybe, maybe not. We hopefully will make you feel good, laugh, cringe, cry, or maybe fall asleep if that's what your intention. And I'm Stella from Maple University.
Yeah, if you're driving, we don't want you to fall asleep. Again, at the advice of
Thank
counsel.
you, Eric.
I'm Eric from What's Eric Playing, and today we have a special guest for you. He is back after our previous episode, asking us to double his day rate for appearing, and we declined because we don't have any money. It's Phil Walker Harding.
Woo, 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 woo!
Hello, thanks for having me back.
Thanks,
Acclaimed designer, and this week's topic is going to be interesting. We're talking about work-life balance and the life of a freelancer. So, as someone who has agreed to appear on our podcast for free, what are your thoughts on work-life balance? None of us are getting paid.
Never ask for money. Oh, well, no, this is a topic I think about a lot because I think a lot of people in the board game space are working essentially kind of a freelance kind of lifestyle. Like I imagine it's for you too, doing content creation and reviewing and things like that. That, you know, you don't go to an office, you don't really have a boss. You have to kind of find your own way and make your own week work.
Yeah.
And I'm a full-time game designer at the moment, and so it's very much I mostly operate freelance in that I'm dealing with publishers as an individual. And I feel like I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still no good at this work-life balance stuff. I'm still no good at making a freelance week feel kind of cohesive and rewarding. I thought it'd be a good thing to talk about. And maybe you can give me some tips about how you...
It's definitely like the old saying goes, if you love what you do, you'll never know a moment of peace.
Well, firstly, how do you define good? What do you think when do you stop and say, yep, this is good?
Well, this is a great question because I feel like if you work a traditional job, so many boundaries are put in place for you, like when you start, when you finish, what it looks like to be working, how much you get paid. All of that is kind of locked in.
Yeah.
So good is just you don't really have an option. It's just that's the way it is, right? That's what you get at this career, this job. Whereas for freelancers, there's all these, like, it's all up in the air. Like, how many gigs do you try to go for? What sort of pay should you ask for? How long should you spend on that?
Yep.
When do you stop working if you're just working in your house? Like, there's no place to exit and leave, and then work is done. Who's going to tell you to shape up because you don't have a boss? Like, all those things.
You have to also, like, meet the minimum amount of required money that you need to live your life. And then the freelance question becomes, okay, I've met that minimum. How do I, like, what level of lifestyle am I looking for? And how do I make the time spent working to money trade-off to get me to that tier of quality of life that I want?
Yeah.
That's right. These are all questions that I guess we're not really trained to ask or answer. Like, school and my experience of school and university didn't really teach me to like navigate all this stuff.
That's
it just
right.
assumed.
Oh, I went to school in America. They didn't teach us.
No, neither in Indonesia. No
They just
way.
taught us a lot of strange things about the Civil War.
So it sort of just becomes this weird thing people talk about. Like, you know, when I get together with other game designers, we talk about this stuff. We go like, how did you decide that? Or what do you do when this happens? Or so it's all just kind of open sourced, kind of figured out. And it sometimes is a bit tricky.
Oh yeah, no, we had a big issue with that on the photography side for a while because there is no, like, board game photography, like, union, guild, etc., anything like that.
Yeah.
We all don't really talk. Not that I don't like the photographers that I know, and in fact have recommended several of them for jobs if I'm not available or if the rate or pricing or timing doesn't work out. But, like, you know, if I'm charging, you know, $500 for a job and a different photographer is charging $100 for the job, that job still usually takes the same amount of time, or at least the same amount of effort, but this person's getting paid a whole lot less. And I'm like, oh, that's not
Mm,
good for anybody.
mm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
bad for the market writ
Yeah.
large, it's bad for the person, it's probably bad for me, shrug.
Yeah, that's right. Like some of these things are very hard to figure out. Like a lot of designers talk about, hey, what do you like without being really weird, what royalties do you get? Like what do your
Yeah.
contracts look like?
Yes.
Like when
Yeah.
I started out, that was a big question I had. Like,
Of
how do
course.
my contracts compare to other people's contracts?
hmm This is where the anti-capitalist part of my brain is like, it's because the man has made it weird for us to talk about money, but that's neither here nor there. It's a very common thing in like my 9 to 5 job. It's considered very unprofessional and rude to talk about like
Yeah.
what each other makes,
Yeah.
but that's just
How much?
because
Yeah.
the job doesn't really want you finding out that the person who's working next to
Mm.
you for the same job is making $10,000 a year more than you make.
It's an awkward one, and then you find that like they earn more, and then you lose. I earn more, and then it's lose as well because
Mhm.
that person's not happy. So yeah, sorry, continue. That's the sort of a benchmark of these things, right? Or like a target or something that you could, all right, I want to live comfortably, but I want to also do at least, I don't know, Saturday is free. For example, if that's me and Taryn, like, okay, we work very hard. We work every single day. In the afternoon, Taryn has got another job as well, full-time job. When he comes home, we play board games and then we do filming on Sundays and we try to have Saturday free, for example.
Right.
Otherwise, it'd be crazy.
hmm
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of freelancers will say, and I really feel this, it's like, well, you'll work till it's done. Like if you need to get a video done,
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah.
you'll work
Yeah.
till it's done. And
Mm,
that's the hard thing about there's no like bell that tells you your
Right.
day is over. And I often find
correct.
myself working at night quite late
It's
and
true.
realizing, oh, I just didn't stop.
I've been up till 3 o'clock in the
Um,
morning
Mm,
working on reviews before because the
mm.
review's not done and it's due by some arbitrary standard that I set on Monday morning.
Mm.
So if it's not done, it gets done.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then if if you think if time is money, then you start also thinking, well, if I have free time, like for example, Stella, you said, oh, we take Saturdays off, which sounds incredibly fair. But let's say you're starting out and you're struggling a bit with money. It's like, well, every moment I'm not working is money
Yeah.
I'm losing. So
Yep.
I'm just going to work, 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 work. And that's usually not a healthy
No.
headspace to be in.
No.
It's something I notice a
So
lot of my
all of these, yeah.
younger friends do as well is that like they don't actually put a, and I'm not saying that it's healthy to explicitly do it this way, but they don't put like a dollar amount of value on their free time. Like, if I say, hey, would you come and do a very menial task, like not physically intensive, not labor intensive, just a task I need help with, and I would pay you for it, and it would take about 1 hour to do. How much would you like to get paid? And it's not physically intense. You're not going to be sore afterwards. That number matters to a lot of people because it really determines how
Mm,
much you value your free time at. And some people value their free time as less than their working time. Some people value their free time
mm,
significantly more than their working time. And it's like, okay, but it has to be, no strings. I'm not a friend. You're not doing me a favor. I am just a random person saying, hey, I need someone to like look at my wall for an hour. You can sit, it'll be perfectly comfortable, but I need someone to do it. And some people will say, "Oh, I'd do that for $10." And I'm like, "Oh, that's like below minimum wage in the state of Washington." Some people will be like, "I'd do that for $100." And I'm like, "Oh, that's that's a pretty generous hourly rate." And like there's a big gamut there in how people value their time.
Yeah, and again, it's just being intentional and asking yourself that
Mhm.
question, and not just letting things happen to you in your freelance life, but actually saying, "Here's what I expect or hope to get for that
Mhm.
work," and I think that's fair. And so, if I'm not going to get that, I might not take that
Right.
gig. Um,
yeah.
and those boundaries, I think, are helpful because it's easy as an individual to not enforce your own boundaries when you need, when it's your career. Um, but anything that helps you do that, I think, is worthwhile.
Yeah, just from a psychological perspective, there's also like the concept of anchoring, right? Like if I lowball, then I also have the worry that if I'm lowballed for one job, that if someone's like, okay, well, what were you paid in your previous job? And I'm like, oh well, I was paid this much per hour, but I think that was low. Then there's something to be like, oh, so you're saying we can give you, and that's not good either.
Mm.
You don't want to get anchored to
Yeah.
a low valuation. I think there are sites that ask you like questionnaires to figure out how much like what you value your time at.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
That sounds interesting.
It definitely helps for
Yeah.
some things, right? Like if you're trying to justify X thing or Y thing or Z thing, I usually think of like, oh, if someone told me that they would do this task for me, but they would want $20, would I give them $20 and be like, yes, you can take care of it? And sometimes the answer is yes.
Well, I would say that this board game job work freelance is a passion project partly.
It's dangerous though.
It is definitely need that.
A passion project is
I think
really how you can end up working, like burning the candle at both ends because you love it.
I know.
Yeah, especially when you start,
Mhm.
and maybe you don't need a full-time wage from it, and you're just dipping your toe in and starting. It can be really fun and exciting, and so you just throw everything at it,
Mhm.
and that often isn't a great balance either.
Yeah.
Or like the worst, something I see sometimes happen is people just decide I'm going to be full-time and just jump in and like leave a job or change some life circumstances so they can do this thing full time straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
And maybe that works sometimes, but like usually I find that's really, really risky and can create huge pressure on yourself. Yeah.
I can actually tell you that I've done that. I just jumped to it. Well, I've got some savings. Terrence working at the job full time, and I'm still working like temping, doing temp. Is it called temping as well in America? Like
Yeah, ish.
working
I think we might call it like
temping
contract work, but I think that
contract work. Yeah,
at least the concept of temping is similar enough between like British, US, Australian English that I know what you mean.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, good. Because last time I said moving house, like, what's that? Removalist, what's that?
That was me going, I'm sorry, this is the US America. But we've been
But yeah,
You don't say removalist.
removalist.
What do you say?
no, we've been trained since birth to we call them movers.
Movers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so broad.
This was explained
I told you. Yeah.
This was explained to me a long time
Correct.
ago as like old American newspapers charged by the letter for ad copy. So a lot of places would like
There you
cut
go.
letters. Oh, that's why the U
Yeah.
is missing from a bunch of like English words. And I was
Yes.
like, oh, that makes sense.
It all comes back to the money.
I mean, that's yeah. But yeah, and I was gonna say this is why we have the old saying, "Don't quit your day job" for a lot of things,
Yes,
right?
for a reason. But they are temping. Like my skill at the time, it was quite marketable, and then easily I can just work as a temp at different places, which I did, and I had a backup plan. So
Right.
the reason
Yes,
I did that
yes.
is to put myself in the situation where I have no choice, give myself no choice to just, just succeed. But with some backups, obviously it's not like I'm not going to go hungry, or I'm not going to just lose my rental place at the time or anything like that. But yeah, as long as there's this backup.
Yeah, I think that's really
yeah.
important to be in a situation where the risks are minimized.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been really fortunate that I've always had while I was getting into my game design career, I've had relatively flexible arrangements too. So
Good.
I was able to make it a day a week, then 2 days a week, and slowly
Right.
build it up.
Yes.
But I do understand for a lot of people, they don't have that. And so at some point, you just have to like make some sort of call.
Yeah, unless I
Yeah.
worked for like a major publication, written reviews of board games make no money. So I have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The review is it's just a tough one, I guess. It's like still being frowned upon.
Yeah, there's all sorts of
Like
ethical
review.
limitations to how and in what context we can accept money,
Yeah.
and those are really important to me.
Correct.
So it makes
Yeah.
it very tricky to like look to freelance reviewing as a career, right? Because if a publisher sponsors your channel, well, is that weird? It ends up being a lot of disclosures, which love a disclosure, but also I've tried a few things in the past. They all made me feel a little icky, and so I've just stopped all of it. I have a Patreon. That's it.
I understand.
It was a real eye opener the first time I really visited the German industry to see that there are reviewers over there. There are newspaper reviewers and magazine reviewers who get paid, and it's their gig.
In newspapers. That's where you want the review.
And it's like, yeah, it just shows you the difference in culture. There's still quite a difference in the way
Yeah.
board games are viewed,
Yeah.
because I can't see that happening in many other countries.
Nah, it also really hurt us when Mark Zuckerberg made up all that stuff about print media being dead when he was trying to sell video ads on Facebook. So that kind of devastated a number of things. But, at least I get to work 2 jobs. That's really the American dream.
Do you find your Patreon, is that a rewarding process to run a Patreon account and to have people interact with you?
No, but I also don't offer any rewards for a variety of reasons, because I've done the mental math of, if I spent X time to produce Y reward, which convinced Z people to back at a dollar tier, that money doesn't wrap around to being worth it for me. I don't want to do something, and I'm not saying that people who do Patreon rewards are doing crappy stuff. I'm saying, as an assessment of my skill at creating physical objects, anything that I do would be terrible. Like,
I'm sure you're fine.
There are people who make beautiful stuff. No, genuinely, I do not have that talent.
Okay.
But
I see a lot of writers that I know of have a Patreon page so they can get an advanced chapters of the series that they have, for example.
Yeah, I did think about that. And then I got to the point where I was writing my reviews like 30 minutes before the review was due. And so the advanced part of that is also not going to work.
Yeah, no.
So I'm just like, this is a wash. It doesn't help that WordPress has like one of the absolute like just shittiest interfaces known to man. So there really is hard to share WordPress specific content. That's how I host my site. Outside of the very like 3 specific ways they let you do it. It's a real terrible site. I should have listened to every YouTuber ever and gone with Squarespace.
Well, how about you, Phil? Do you have a Patreon page?
No. So I suppose the way and the reason I've been able to move to full-time game design is by having, what the industry calls an evergreen game in Sushi Go, and its spin-offs, which means I get a royalty that's consistent enough from that I can plan the rest of my working around. It's more like it's almost like getting a wage where you can have some security.
Yes.
So for a lot of game designers, the jump to full-time really comes when that happens, when they do get sort of an evergreen. Although there are a few other like strategies and models out there for how to work it, but for me that was the absolute difference of it being essentially a hobby I was doing on the side, or a 1 day a week thing, to a career.
Yep.
Well, that makes sense, right? Consistency is the key to making that like an actual practice.
And they were like, oh, this actually could work. I've got royalties from here. Like, this is a passive income. Hooray. So
passive income hacks, guys. You heard it here first.
Well, I mean, this is the great like duality of being a game designer is, I'm still getting paid for a game I made 10 years ago, but I'm also working for free on a whole bunch of games that will never be made. Or that will get rejected, or that will make almost no money. So all of your work is up front without pay. Usually, like occasionally you'll get a pay for a work job, but usually you're doing heaps of design work and testing and refining and developing without any money, or maybe a small advance royalty. So when one of those games kicks into gear as a semi-regular income source, it's gratifying, because it feels like it's kind of paying for a lot of just the way you work week in, week out.
The fear is, though, as we were discussing on our previous episode, if you haven't listened to our previous episode, go listen to it right now and then come back to this conversation so you'll have the full context.
Pause.
But there's a lot of, like, it feels like the evergreen, like, hit zone is becoming narrow. Like, that bullseye is becoming harder and harder to hit every year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Someone who I work with a bit, Matthew Dunstan, who's another designer here in Australia, he's kind of carved out, he's a full-time designer too, and he's kind of carved out a really interesting approach where he doesn't really have an evergreen. Like, he has some successful games, but he doesn't have like a mega hit that's going to sell, tens of thousands of copies consistently. But what he's realized is sort of another way into regular income is working on game
Right.
series. So games
Oh,
that
yeah.
series that things come out for all
Right.
the time.
Like the
So
Next Station games,
the,
among others.
yeah, so the Next
Mhm.
Station games, he does the Echoes mystery games with
Oh yeah, I
Ravensburger.
like the Echoes games.
Yes.
Yeah, and we did adventure games
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
So and also Postmark Games, his kind of little publisher he does with Rory, is similar. There's always new content coming out. And so it's almost like a magazine subscription-y model of like, well, none of these games is going to sell 1 million copies, but if I have ongoing work with a few different series of games, that's another way to get regularity. And so definitely respect him for that and that kind of other approach.
In my world, Guild of Merchant Explorers should be an evergreen, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, that's
it's a great game.
That is a great game.
I think I've played it like another
Excellent game.
100 times on Board Game Arena since it dropped on there, and I was like, oh, thank God, a game where I can just click stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and the Next Station games,
They're great.
Are similar.
Yeah. That's good idea.
So there's still room for creativity and finding new ways to make freelancing work. But again, it's something he's sort of had to figure out, and it's not always smooth sailing for either of us. Sometimes there are those times where you worry like, oh, is this all just going to disappear and I'm going to have to start again or do something completely different?
It's you looking somberly in the mirror and saying, one day all of this will sushi stop.
It does have its stressful. Well, it will. I mean, it will. Like, I mean, I guess there's a small chance a game will live for decades and decades and decades, but that's very, very, very rare.
I was gonna say, Sushi Go's got a good shot at it, though. Like, every so often, one of my friends finds out that I'm into board games, and I haven't told them the full extent of that nightmare. And they're like, have you ever played Sushi Go? And I'm like, tell me more about this. I'm delighted, but I'm always just like, yeah, hit me with it.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'd love it to be around for another 10 years, but it's always hard to know. So many things can happen. And
agreed.
Change.
I guess still in the work-life balance, there are other things to consider. I mean, they are, our partners or our, family members that also wanting to have, I mean, that's fair. They want to have some of our times as well. That's also actually, I guess, would be one of the factors to put into consideration of how you actually managing all this without, it's probably a cliche, like a dad. I'm giving example, a dad and the kid doesn't spend a lot of time with the dad. The dad's always working, type of thing. It doesn't have to be the kids, like, could be your wife, or I don't know.
It could be a bird you really care about.
Be your dogs. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and you add, like, obviously, family expectations, but also working at home, as often freelancers do, is another weird thing, because it's like, you're super busy, so you're not spending time with your family, but you're in the same house behind a locked door, not spending time with your family, which feels different to, dad's working late at the office.
Yeah.
It's an interesting vibe. So I think for me, Meredith knows, over time, I guess we figured out, but there are times when I'm working, particularly when a game's about to come out or we're going through final development on a game, when I might just be in the zone, so to speak, for a week or two. And I think I am probably not the most, present person for those 2 weeks.
Yes.
And so finding ways to kind of acknowledge that and maybe counterbalance that a little bit, but also recognizing that's just the reality, that sometimes there'll be these super intense periods where I'm home, but I may not be,
present for
the greatest
you.
person to chat to or whatever. Or whatever.
I do think a lot about that moment at the height of the pandemic where everyone had their desks and their work offices in their bedrooms, and just being like, that's a fun work-life balance tip. Don't do that. Don't ever work and sleep in the same location if you can avoid it.
It's super true.
Well, I mean,
I find it often hard enough to work just at home.
I can't tell you how many times I woke up in my bed in my dorm room in my bed in college with like a line on my face from the textbook that I had fallen asleep on because I thought it would be a good idea to study in my bed.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
don't do
Yeah,
that.
you gotta have. I mean, I'm no good at this, so who am I to judge? But you really have to find some way to physically separate things. Often for me, I go and work. If I'm doing like computer work, I'll go and work in a library or a cafe,
Mm.
just because I know I have a limit for how much I can work or want to work at home and not start to kind of get cabin fever a bit. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's nice to keep home or at least your bedroom or
Part,
a
yeah.
space in your home as like work
Right.
free.
Unfortunately, I have
yeah.
but one gift, and it's that I can fall asleep anywhere.
I think that's really lucky. That's so lucky.
I'd love that gift.
Airplanes, libraries, meetings. It is until you fall asleep in a work meeting and they're like, "Excuse me," and you're like, "Sorry, I was just really focused." Like,
really focus, Eric.
look, I don't want to make this podcast too political, but our president has been falling asleep in a number of cabinet meetings, and that is unfortunately the like single thing about him that I find very relatable. I'm like, I too have conked out in a boring meeting before, and I've been like, no, I'm really focused.
Well, maybe I've got one more question for you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, on top of your head, very quickly, your top 2 hobbies that is not board game related.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I've been saying for a long time I need more hobbies because board gaming used to be my hobby.
Yeah, same.
And so I lost a hobby. I would say they are like watching movies, classic, especially classic Hollywood is my favorite kind of genre. I went to film school before I got into game design and wanted to be a director for a while.
Yeah.
And so I love watching old movies. And just when I was in my early 20s, I played music and was in bands and stuff. And that's something I'm slowly, as an attempt to find another hobby, getting back into songwriting and playing music again. So that was a very intentional, I need another creative outlet that's not my job.
Good.
Yeah, so I'd say they're the 2 things I also
So
do.
In the interest of annihilating your work-life balance, can we expect a like movie-themed board game or a songwriting board game from you in the near future? Or?
I was going to ask that.
I am working on a movie one, but you've just made me realize how maybe that's not the best idea.
It's a little unhealthy.
I've lost another hobby.
Just a little unhealthy, though. It's like this much unhealthy. For those of you listening, I'm holding my fingers fairly close together.
How many inches is that? Maybe 3 inches. 2 inches.
This 1.5 tops.
Okay, fine. And that's about for Australian. That's probably about 4 centimeters.
Yeah, I was like this part of my pinky finger, like the middle part of my pinky finger, is almost exactly 1 inch.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Is that a useful unit of measurement to know? No. Do I know it? Yes. Because I had to do a lot of math competitions in high school, and some of that's burnt in.
The kind of thing that you would hear in Live Beyond Board Games. And we might as well wrap it up.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to me explore my trauma briefly. And Phil, thanks once again for appearing on the show.
It's nice to chat to other freelancers.
Yeah, likewise. For those of you listening at home or otherwise, we hope we made a good companion for your driving, house chores, or routines. Earlier in the show, we said we might make you fall asleep. If you are driving, please do not fall asleep while you are listening to this. It makes us look bad. But if you do enjoy this podcast, it would mean a lot to us if you could follow us and leave a review. Also, don't do that while you're driving. But we'll see you in our next episode. Catch you later.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks again, Phil. Bye.
Bye.